السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Brothers and elders, mothers and sisters in Islam, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us in the company of the righteous in this world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise us amongst the righteous on the day of Qiyamah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fill our lives with mercy and rahmah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us barakah and blessings in this month of Sha'ban. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to reach the month of Ramadan in the best of our health, in the best of our iman. We're continuing our series on preparation for the month of Ramadan. And tonight is our 6th hadith. And the hadith is reported by Ibn Umar Radhi Allaho. And just a little bit thoughts about Ibn Umar Radhi Allaho. Ibn Umar Radhi Allaho is that companion of the Prophet ﷺ who had the last moments to share with his beloved and noble father, Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu. Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu, as we all know about him, was a person in the initial portions of his life, was the only person who ever really picked up a sword to go and, na'udhu billah, assassinate the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed his life and Allah gave him Islam and Deen. And he became such a person where Rasulullah said, "Law kana ba'da nabiyyan lakana Umar." If there was a prophet after me, it would have been you, O Umar, for the qualities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has closed the door of prophethood. So Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu is the narrator of this hadith. And Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu, not this hadith, just a side note to remember his life. Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu mentioned that it was the last moments of the life of my father, Umar radiyallahu anhu. And I placed his head in my lap when my father was breathing his last. So Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu said that my father took his head off of my lap and he placed it on the earth, on the ground, on the floor. And he rubbed his cheek towards the earth itself, where I saw that the dirt from the earth began to touch him. And he said, "Oh Ibn Umar," he talked to his son, and he said, "Oh Ibn Umar, what will happen to your father if Allah doesn't forgive him?" Meaning these are the words of Umar bin Khattab, a man who the Nabi of Allah ﷺ gave glad tidings of Jannah. Right? A man where Rasulullah ﷺ said, when I was taken to Mi'raj, Asra wal Mi'raj, the journey itself, I saw such a beautiful palace. It was so beautiful that I asked the angel, "Whose palace is this?" So I was told that this is a palace of one Qurayshi. So Rasulullah ﷺ said, "I am from amongst the Quraysh." And I thought for myself that it could be of no one else, then I thought it was mine. I was about to step inside and I was informed that, "Oh Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that this is the palace of Umar ibn al-Khattab." And he said, "It was your honor, O Umar, that didn't allow me to enter inside and I just saw it from outside." Right? A man with such caliber is telling his son that, "Oh Umar, if your Rabb doesn't forgive you, then what will happen to you?" Right? And may Allah forgive for us of small little amal, and I think that I own Jannah. Right? If it was not the rahmah and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu said, my father said, "Oh Ibn Umar, when I pass away, this is my wasiyat to you to carry my body quickly towards the qabr. Because if the wrath of Allah was to come, I wouldn't want it to come upon your shoulders." You know, such fear of Allah, right? Such fear of Allah was in the lives of these individuals. Then he said, "When you take me in front of the Rawdah of the Prophet ﷺ to be buried inside the sacred chamber," he said, "put my body outside and ask Ummul Mu'mineen Aisha radiyallahu anha if she allows me to be buried. Because now I am Amirul Mu'mineen. And there's a sense of not fear, but strength that I have over the people because I'm the Amir and the Khalifa. I'm the leader. So when I pass away, those titles are lifted. And she still has the choice of allowing me to be buried next to Rasulullah ﷺ and my beloved friend Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. So don't just take me inside. Make sure you put me outside and seek her permission if she allows me to be buried inside her chamber, because that's her husband and that's her father inside Rasulullah ﷺ and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu." Right? Such was the fear of these individuals. So Ibn Umar radiyallahu says, I was personally the witness of the words, but let's continue to the hadith. Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his Malaa'ikah, his angels, send blessings upon those who eat suhoor, Sehri itself." And of course, Sehri is such a big blessing. Suhoor itself is such a huge blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that not only that we are nourishing ourselves, but we're receiving the rahmah and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. There's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam which says, 3 things have barakah. Hadith of Rasulullah, authentic hadith. 3 things have barakah. Number 1, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, ishtimayat, collectiveness. When your hearts are connected, this is the rahmah of Allah. There is barakah inside. Whenever you find people, individuals, communities, areas, households, nations, when the hearts are united, the rahmah of Allah is there, right? If hearts of any person, any place, a household to a community to a nation, when hearts are united, there is rahmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah said, 3 things have barakah. Number 1, ishtimayat, collectiveness, jama'at, when your hearts are connected, number 1. Number 2, Rasulullah said, tharid, a special type of food that he used to love to eat. When you bake the bread and then you have a stew and you put the bread inside and you soak it inside and you break the pieces of meat and you eat it. Rasulullah used to love tharid. He used to say that the fadila of tharid over all the food is like the fadila of Aisha Radhi Allaho over all the other women is like the tharid over all the other food. So he used to love eating tharid, which has so much barakah in itself. So he said, ishtimayat, jama'at, collectiveness has barakah. Number 2, tharid, the food itself has barakah. And number 3, suhoor, sehri itself has barakah. Barakah in a sense that you're able to nourish yourself, you can eat yourself. And of course, eating a little bit of food at that time will allow you to sustain your fast, avoid anger, avoid so many things that a person can have to an empty stomach. And it's the best time to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the best time to seek the assistance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even if you're not a big eater and you said, I can't eat at that time, I'll just eat at night, try to wake up, eat even a single date or a sip of milk, but make this as a part of your life that inshallah you're going to take suhoor for the reason that it has barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you can, make 2 rakats of salah. The best time to make 2 rakats, tahajjud itself, is at that time and seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's assistance through dua. So the month of Ramadan is coming. Make benefit from the time of suhoor, for it is a time of barakah and blessings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq and ability to practice whatever good has been shared, inshallah. Subhanallahi wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu.